Yesterday we had Sean Strickland versus Dricus Plessis at UFC 297, and it was a great fight. It was overall a really good card in my opinion. Today I'm just going to talk about Strickland versus Plessis. I'm just going to talk about the main event, the title fight. And there's a lot of controversy surrounding the fight right now because most people online, if you check, seem to believe that Strickland should have won. I believe Dana White said that he thought Strickland should have won 3-2. Yeah, people were very torn on how this fight should have gone. I'm going to give my opinion on it. First and foremost, it was a great fight, and I think it was a great performance by both guys. It was about as close as a fight can possibly get, in my opinion. And I don't believe it was a robbery. I don't necessarily believe Dricus is the one who deserved to get the win either. If there's any fight where I feel like they should be giving out 10-10 rounds, just straight up draw rounds, it's a fight like this one. I really think 10-10 rounds should be something that's allowed. I don't know if it is. I've never heard of a 10-10 round being scored. This fight made me think that they should be scored. I hope this fight gets run back right away because it needs to. But anyways, let's just talk about the fight. So first round starts, and going into this fight, I guess for people that don't know, I did make a video predicting this fight when it first got announced, like a couple months back, or however long ago, I don't know, 6 weeks ago maybe. And I said that I thought whoever was the one moving forward and pushing the pace would win the fight because Strickland historically doesn't fight good moving backwards, or at least not. He doesn't fight as good moving backwards as he does going forward. And I picked Dricus to win because I thought if there's anybody in the world that Strickland can't back up, it's going to be Dricus. Like, Dricus is just he's like a marauding force. He's just always going to go forward. That's just the kind of fighter he is. I don't see anybody really making Dricus take a backward step. And so, going into the first round, though, Dricus was moving forward the whole time, but he really struggled to land clean on Strickland, and Strickland was rolling with shots, slipping, parrying, and landing the jab like all day on Dricus. He landed the jab a lot throughout the fight. He landed the jab, the 1-2, the teep to the body. Like, Strickland in that first round especially, he was on fire, and honestly, after that first round, I was thinking, oh, geez, like, first round was probably Dricus' best round and Strickland's worst round, and Strickland kind of schooled him in the first. So I was thinking that might be a wrap. Like, Dricus might not have a chance. Strickland looked so good in that first round, but Dricus, he had much better cardio than I thought he would. Now, I never thought he had, like, terrible cardio, but he doesn't have, like, I didn't think he had, like, world-class cardio. And he still doesn't look like it. He still looks very, very exhausted, but he's just really good at fighting through the exhaustion. But as the fight went on, I think Dricus, he just got stronger as it went. Rounds 2 and 3, I believe it was 2 and 3, I thought were, like, really close, could have gone either way. 2 probably went to Dricus. 3, I don't know. It's hard to remember because I do think so many of them were really close. I think first round definitely Strickland. Fourth round I think was probably definitely Dricus. Fifth round I thought was a toss-up and could have gone either way, but just based on the last like 30 to 40 seconds of the fifth round, I think Strickland should have got it. And then 2 and 3, I just have no idea. Like, either guy could have got it. I said I was watching the fight with friends, and I said when they were before they read out the scorecards, I said I bet it's going to be a split decision, 48-47 Strickland, 48-47 Dricus, 48-47 Strickland, and Strickland's going to win by split decision. I was one scorecard off, it ended up being split decision for Dricus Plessis. But yeah, it was just razor close fight. Dricus did a lot of things really well. He looked pretty sloppy in the beginning. I think if Dricus would tightened up his shots better, he could have landed better on Strickland. he did a lot of these like looping shots, and I think if he'd thrown more straight down the middle, straight down the pipe, he could have landed better on Strickland. His looping shots look very labored. Strickland's able to roll with those. You know, you can't really roll with a straight shot. You can slip it. But Strickland, what he's really good at is parrying and like rolling. He not like rolling under, but like roll, like when, okay, if this is a punch, this is a bad example, but like if this is a punch, rolling. I just mean like moving your head with it as it's coming. Strickland's really good at doing that. It takes a lot of the power out of the shot, and he's able to not get hurt. And yeah, I mean, Strickland wasn't landing like crazy hard shots on Dricus. Dricus was definitely throwing with more power, but by the end of it, just looking at their faces, you could tell who did more damage. Strickland definitely did more. Sticking the jab on Dricus and the 1-2 on Dricus the whole fight and landing it clean, straight, but it through the guard. Like he was throwing that jab through Dricus's guard perfectly over and over again, and it was busting up Dricus's face. And then Dricus would throw these bigger shots, and they wouldn't land with the same impact just because Strickland would like move with it and disperse a lot of the force. I guess there was a clash of heads. I didn't even see the clash of heads, to be honest. But Strickland says there was. I guess that's what opened up the cut. I do remember when the cut happened, I immediately thought to myself, okay, there's a really bad cut over his eye. Blood's going to pool up in his eye. It's going to hinder his vision. He's going to probably get hit more now. And that is pretty much what happened. Once the blood started pooling up in his eye and he wasn't able to see as good, he started getting landed on more clean, and the fight became a lot more it started to favor Dricus a lot more up until the 5th round. I'm trying to think of things that I'm missing. Takedowns was another thing. I guess we'll get into the controversy of the decision now. I feel like I'm just rambling about the fight with no structure whatsoever. I haven't made a video in like a week. But anyways, we're going to get into the controversy of the decision. Like I said, I don't think it was a robbery. I think if you want to look at it with just the scoring criteria that they're supposed to use, Strickland probably edged out the fight 3-2. Barely. But if you just want to use common sense and instead of thinking, okay, well, this is the scoring criteria that they're supposed to use, let's just think about like what people see in when you see something, like what you feel when you see it, okay? Because there is the scoring criteria, sure, but a lot of the time, like the eye test, you know, just watch it. And how did you feel when it was over? Who did you feel like won if you're not thinking about scoring criteria? And round by round, I think Dricus did a really good job of doing things that look good to the judges. Mostly the takedowns. Like when you have a close round, and maybe Strickland outstruck him a little bit in each of those rounds, but Dricus landed the bigger looking shots. They weren't really the bigger shots, they were bigger looking because they weren't landing super clean, but bigger looking shots, which judges like, okay? Just judges that don't really know what they're watching, like they see a bigger looking shot, and then you get a takedown at the end of the round that looks really big to a judge. According to the rules, the takedown shouldn't really be scored for points unless there is damage inflicted after the takedown, because damage comes first in MMA scoring. But to a judge who maybe isn't thinking about that, they just see really close round, could go to either guy. This guy got a takedown at the end. That guy won the round. And so I think Dricus was super smart to be shooting those takedowns at the end of the rounds. I believe he shot one at the end of 2, end of 3. I think he did one in the end too. Definitely end of 3, and he shot a bunch in 4 and 5. I feel like maybe not a bunch, but he got a few takedowns in 4 and 5. Got some control time, but I don't remember Dricus ever getting much ground and pound off. I'm gonna rewatch the fight because I was watching it with friends, and so you get a little distracted. I felt like I was pretty dialed in. I don't remember much for ground and pound. There weren't any like submission attempts or anything. Strickland, honestly, I was really impressed with Strickland's ability to get up. His takedown defense is good, but it's not the best. People used to talk about Strickland having like elite takedown defense. His takedown defense is just good, but his ability to get up is very elite. I'm really impressed, especially when you see some of the other guys fighting on the card who get taken down, and it's like they can't get up to save their life. And I know it's not simple to get up. It takes a lot of technique. Takes a lot of athleticism sometimes if you want to explode. If you're not explosive, like Strickland's not that explosive, then you have to have the technique down. You have to have a good understanding of weight and like where you need to shift your body to put weight in different areas and where your opponent's weight is being pressed on you and how to use leverage and all that to get to your feet. It's very difficult, and he got up after every single takedown, without. I mean, I'm sure it was hard, but he didn't make it look that hard, So that was really impressive to me. Yeah, it was a razor close fight. I don't know. I don't have much else to say. Super close. I think they should run it back. I don't like the idea of Israel Adesanya coming back to fight Dricus for the belt when Izzy lost very dominantly to Strickland. Before that, he had just won back his belt off an immediate rematch against Alex Pereira. You got an immediate rematch, and then you lost to Strickland. You should probably have to go get a win before you can fight for the belt. It kind of bugged me that Dricus called him out. I wish Dricus would have just been like, yeah, it was a super close fight. We should probably run it back. Let's run it back. I think that's what they should do. And it was just a fun fight, too. I think this fight was more fun than Adesanya versus Dricus would be. I don't think that fight would be very fun at all. Adesanya fights usually aren't that fun, to be honest, unless he's losing. If he's winning, it's always boring. So... And I also just don't like Adesanya, I'll just be honest. But I think they should run it back. If they run it back again, I have no idea who's going to win. I think if they run it back again, I'm probably going to pick Strickland, to be honest. I think he'll come in there with a slightly different game plan and get the win. Whereas Dricus, I feel like, will think, okay, I got the win this time. I'm going to try to do mostly the same thing. But... Dricus is younger in the sport. He has more improving to do than Strickland, most likely, so I could be totally wrong. Maybe second time around, Dricus goes out there and starches him. Who knows? I like both guys. I wanted both of them to win. That doesn't happen. I just hope they run it back. I hope we get another good fight. And, yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the fight in the comments. I'm going to make another video talking about the rest of the card, or at least most of the card. I'm just going to go over some highlights, like how Mike Malott should be ashamed of himself and stuff like that. So, if you guys like the video, hit the like button. If you could subscribe, that would be cool. If you disliked it, then hit the dislike button. And thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.